What is up, YouTube? In today's video, I'm going to be doing a technical breakdown on how to catch catfish in deep water. These are catfish located in 30 plus feet of water. These tips, tricks, and techniques will be most applicable during the winter and late fall seasons, where the catfish tend to hole up in deeper water when they aren't necessarily feeding too actively. This will also work very well in highland lakes during the day, where you've got a deeper lake with some shallow structure as well. In this technical breakdown, I'm going to cover the equipment required, the techniques that I use, and some tips and tricks for locating these catfish. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to like and subscribe. This is the first of many technical breakdown sessions that I will be covering on my channel. Thanks again for watching. So we're going to start this technical session off by looking at some tips and tricks for locating these deep water catfish. So what you're looking at here is a depth map of Lake Buchanan. This is the lake that I typically fish. So the first thing that I would look at is, you can see here that the dark blue, that kind of line that goes through the lake, that's called the main lake or the river channel. So that's the deepest part of the lake. So when you're locating catfish, one thing you want to do is kind of start off either kind of at the dam or at the deepest part of the lake and kind of work your way back towards main lake structures that might be holding catfish. So looking at this depth map, there's a few key structures that I'm really trying to look for. So first is any main lake humps or points. These are shallower sections that stick out into the river channel. So the first one here that really kind of crossed my eyes, it's very obvious, is if you look, you can kind of see that there's one in the very middle there. And actually there's kind of crosses between a smaller river channel that branches off to the side, and then the main river channel on the right-hand side. So it kind of is covered on two sides by deep water. One thing that you don't really see here that I was able to kind of tell on Google Maps, if you go back in time on Google Maps, you can kind of see that there's actually quite a bit of, there's rock or bedrock. Part of that main lake structure includes some rock. There's also some trees down there. So we've got trees, we've got rocks, and then we've got access to deep water. And then there's a kind of the top of that main lake point is, kind of a shallow, kind of sandy or muddy bottom. So this is a perfect example of main lake structure where when the catfish are actively feeding, they're going to be on the top of this hump, right? But we're not really, for this video, we're not looking for the actively feeding catfish. We're looking for the catfish that are holed up somewhere, right? So that we can target those when they're generally inactive. So, what I would suggest is focusing on and targeting the outside ledges of these main lake humps. So for this technique, I'm actually going to be moving while I'm fishing from the boat. This is called drift fishing, as opposed to anchoring up somewhere and just letting the line sit for a while, which is what a lot of cat fishermen do. So the benefits in doing this is, you get to cover a lot of area in a short period of time. So the equipment that I typically use is I use 2 pole holders, a drift sock, and like a trolling motor to help me kind of stay on course. So the way it works is after you deploy your drift sock, basically the wind will start to push the boat in the direction provided. And you just basically let your lines out while the boat is drifting, and you get to cover quite a bit of water. The best rig to use when you're drift fishing is going to be the Santee Cooper rig. Now you'll see here the Santee Cooper rig consists of a bank sinker connected to a three-way swivel connected to a leader line which has a peg float and a circle hook on it. The real benefit to using this type of rig is it tends to be less snaggy than the Carolina rig, with the bank sinker kind of sitting up vertically. I think they also make better drift weights for this type of thing, but I don't really have the money to invest in those. With the Santee Cooper rig, you can really use whatever bait you'd like, whether that be live bait or dead bait, chicken liver, whatever that you've got. The peg float kind of keeps the bait upright, and I noticed that I get more catfish as compared to fishing with the classic Carolina rig. So really any gear will work, open face reels, whatever you got. I prefer using bait casting setup with a medium heavy to heavy rod. So I've got about 25-pound mono on here. This is actually the Ugly Stick Tiger Elite. So very heavy duty rod, works really well for fighting some big cats, would highly recommend it.